The Toronto Raptors are a week away from starting the 2021 season. Paul Jones, Sherman Hamilton here. And big news if you're a basketball fan. I know you're waiting for basketball to get going, but we're going to have fans in the arena. The Toronto Raptors, it was announced yesterday, in their home away from home in Tampa, Florida at Amalie Arena, will have limited capacity in terms of fans. 3,200 for the preseason. It jumps to 3,800 for the regular season. No floor seating, no seats within 30 feet of the court. And you must have, be of a certain age and wear a mask. And Sherm, this is good news. I mean, we're watching sporting events. We watch baseball. I watch football. Even though there's limited numbers of fans, you still get some energy from some of the people in the crowd.
Absolutely. To see movement, to see reaction from the crowd, it's going to be something that is going to be positive for the players in terms of just kind of getting back to some of the elements too in a basketball game. But understand, the Raptors know who they are. They understand that the fans that will be there to support them, they're going to be there, but they're not going to be the determining factor. And I just think that the Raptors have gained fans across North America. So they'll have good support there. And the fans that are there will definitely support the Raptors. But players understand, coaches understand, they all know it's fine to have those fans there, but they still have to get it done on the floor. But I just think it's a move in the right direction as long as it continues to be done with the proper protocol and everybody's safety at hand. I just think it's a good vibe to get some of that element of this is what we're used to. We're used to seeing people in the stands and reactions. So I think that's going to be a positive thing.
Well, I've always said this. We're not sure when we're going to see full arenas again. And we look at, the Raptors championship run. It was the last finals played with full arenas. And you look at it now on TV and looking back at the highlights and you think, man, in this day and age of COVID, look at all those people rammed into a tight space together, the noise, the energy. I know with even limited seating, that's what the NBA wants to work its way back toward, all the fans in the stands. Plus, there's a revenue component to that too, Sherm. You get people coming to the building, generating revenue, buying tickets, concessions, T-shirts, hats, pennants, all of those things. It feeds into the total revenue for the league.
Oh, no question about it. And beyond that, the people that work in those arenas,
Right.
They get a chance to get some employment and get some money. So it just helps on so many levels. But again, we have to emphasize, as long as the NBA continues to do it the right way, following all proper protocols and have everybody's safety first and foremost, I think there's a lot of positives to it. And overall, we just want to see things feel like we're used to them feeling in terms of watching our sports, taking in some kind of beverage at a game, going and grabbing some popcorn, all those elements you want to be back and to create a little bit of normalcy regarding how we take in our sports and the things that we love to do.
Well, who's excited to have fans back? He always ends his news conferences before the game to the media by saying, enjoy the game, everybody. It's Raptors head coach, Nick Nurse.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to it, right? I think it's big part of basketball, right? The energy the fans bring, and I know it's a small number, but we certainly are looking forward to it, and more importantly, hoping that number can grow here quickly, right? As hopefully things improve, with COVID. But again, I think it's in Charlotte in the preseason the other night, there was no fans, obviously, and didn't seem that much of a difference, right? Once the game gets going and there's some intensity out there and all that stuff, I thought the players were playing hard and all that kind of stuff. So we are looking forward to the fans, but we kind of got to play them however we got to play them right now, and that's what we intend to do. Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome, Doug. It's really impressive setup. It's eye-catching, right? When you come in, you're like, whoa, and every part of it is good. We used the film room today for the first time. That's impressive as well. Obviously, the 2 courts, the weight room, everything, locker rooms. It's been very, very well done, and we're very appreciative of it. The biggest thing that for me, Doug, is it's kind of a two-way street. I need to get to know them, right? And they need to get to know me, what I need to get to see what they can do, and then maybe try to notch that up a few notches, and then they need to get to know me and what I'm expecting of them, or what we are as a coaching staff expecting them, or what our team's expecting of them. And that's really it. It's just kind of a feeling out process for a little bit. But I would say this: those three guys you mentioned, it's these guys have been around a little bit, right? Have some time in the league, and I think they've both been really good as far as picking things up and going out and playing with effort, and contributing. So that's good. I guess there's some things I can do, Doug. I tell our big guys that if they want to fit in, they could start by doing a lot of dirty work for Kyle and Fred, like screening and getting them open and creating shots for them and things like that. I mean, I think that always goes a long way of building a quick friendship, with that kind of stuff. And with DeAndre, who you also mentioned, is he does a lot of little things that help the team win, right? He guards and he cuts and he passes and that kind of stuff. And like Malachi, we talked about this last week, he just kind of comes in, they look at a rookie and survey him for a few days. And then, a couple of days later, Fred's taking him to the gym with him because he, sees he's getting competitive and he's a worker and wants to get better. And then they start kind of mentoring him, the veteran guys stuff. So just things like that, I think, Doug. Well, I'm sure it does. I haven't seen it yet. But I think we're going to go over there tomorrow and hold practice so we can get one in, and then maybe a shoot around on the game day. Just look around, right? New surroundings and get a look around. But I think I think it's nice, just watching the games I've been watching on TV of other teams to see, each team's home courts again, right? I think it's nice. It's better than seeing, the one court in the bubble. Makes it feel a little closer to normal, right? Even though it isn't, but it does. So I think that's kind of the point between that getting back in the arenas is trying to get some of the home court feel back. But I look forward to seeing it. I hear positive things about the arena and it's our home court now. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, they do have a new home court, Sherman. It is Amalie Arena in Tampa. And what you want is for your best players to be comfortable at home. In big games, they're the ones that need to carry you. They always say your role players are more comfortable at home, but role players don't always win you games. They might win you one or two. It's your best guys. And one of their guys, the Raptors, has to be Pascal Siakam. A lot of focus on him, particularly after his showing in the bubble. He admitted it wasn't up to standard, but he knows he has to get better. And he's the kind of guy we've seen that will not shy away from responsibility, and take action in terms of making improvements. So I'm looking for him as one of the guys to really come out and show what he's learned in the offseason.
We talk about leadership all the time. And one of the things that Pascal is going to have to take another step in is being able to be that kind of a leader. Look, on the floor, he has some great moments. He didn't have the best performance in the bubble. He owned up to it. That, to me, is a form of leadership. And that's his way of saying, I know what's expected of me. And not only do I take accountability, here's what I'm going to do to make sure that doesn't happen again. And that's going to be rolled out throughout the course of this season. So I like Pascal's approach. I think his ability to say, hey, it's on me. I got to get better. I've got to be better for my team. That's something you want to see in a young man who you're expecting and projecting to be a leader for this franchise for years to come. So I have confidence in Pascal. I believe in his work ethic. We understand that he's got a lot of room to grow based on where he's come from. So I think that everybody can look at Pascal with a positive attitude and think that he's going to answer the call and step up to the challenge of being the leader they need him to be.
And Sherman, I can guarantee you that he will be using the preseason and the regular season to implement his learning, because he knows it's going to be measured come playoff time. And it's really too bad that the situation presented itself the way it did last year, where they had to stop and take a break for months and months upon end, and you couldn't keep that momentum going. It certainly broke the Raptors' rhythm. It broke Pascal's rhythm. He talked about not having the same amount of joy and fun. And that's something I'll be looking for from him once things get going again.
Yeah, no question about it. Pascal is a guy that you see on the court smiling. You see him playing hard, focused, enjoying his teammates, and enjoying the game overall. And you know, it takes a lot for a player to say, look, I wasn't myself. I didn't feel good in the bubble. I didn't have that joy about playing the game, because there's a lot of criticism that can come with that. And Pascal faced a hail of criticism after his performance in the bubble. But to bounce back from that, to be open and honest about it, and to really explain where you're at right now, to me is a special thing. And Pascal did that, owned everything, and I think he's going to come out on the other side even better for his admission of where he was and where he is now.
All right, let's listen to the guy we've been talking about. Here is Pascal Siakam.
I think that we're in an era where, you know, we can all kind of decide to control, you know, what we put out there. And you know, it's the beauty of having resources and being able to, you know, just have the infrastructure to do those type of things. So I think this summer I just had the opportunity to team up with Red Bull, and just knowing about them, you know, I know that, you know, content creation is just one of the things that they do the best. And once the opportunity came, you know, once I heard that, you know, I was going to partner with them, that was one of the first things I thought. It was just, you know, like I love YouTube. I love watching videos, and I love content. So just, you know, finding ways to create dope content to put out was just an exciting thing for me. So it was a no-brainer. And then obviously, you know, just going back, I thought it was a perfect opportunity to start. I've always wanted to start for a while, and I just felt like that was a perfect opportunity. And then with the partnership with Red Bull, they just made it, you know, 100% easier. I'm definitely a private person, and you know, I take pride in that. You know, just having the circle of people that I'm with all the time, and you know, kind of getting away from the scene a little bit. So yeah, it was a little weird, but I just thought, you know, why not? And it was knowing Red Bull and what they do, you know, I just felt like it was perfect for me to try and start, and you know, just see how it turns out. Seeing the progress every day, being in better shape, moving better, and then obviously, like you said, it's preseason, you know, trying to find you know, kind of like a good rhythm and just get into the flow of everything again. But no, I love it, man. Have a good routine every day, you know, try to wake up as early as I can, get my work in before, you know, and just stay in shape and making sure that, you know, I keep that routine that I had during the off season, which I thought was really good. And, you know, I feel like my body feels good. You know, I feel like I'm stronger. So just little things that every day I try to do, and for me, I think it's working. You know, just getting better every day, and you know, can't wait for the season to start. I think for me, just one of the things that we really focused on was you know, balance, being strong at the rim, just finishing better, staying in balance, like, which was like one of the big things. You know, off one foot, you know, having that balance and finishing at the rim, and again, being more explosive and just moving better overall, like on defense or offense, you know, being more fluid. So it was a lot of things that we focused on, and I feel like, you know, it's getting better, and you know, I think we just want to be able to pick at the right time, and you know, just going to continue to grind and work hard and gradually, you know, get to where we want to get to.
Pascal's play is certainly something that will be watched closely and scrutinized this season. All right, let's go to Raptors Today Extra. Here's Savanna Hamilton along with Katie Heindl and Duane Notice.
Appreciate you, Jonesy. What's up, guys? You're watching RTX. Join with a few new faces today. We got Katie Heindl, host from Dishes and Dimes, and she's also an amazing NBA contributing writer at like everywhere. Katie, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
And of course, we have joining us Duane Notice, professional basketball player. We have actually noticed him with the 905. I'm TZ, I know. And CEBL. Duane, what you saying?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So let's get right to it. So Josh Lewenberg from TSN, he tweeted letting everybody know that the Raptors announced that they will accommodate 3,800 fans in the arena in Tampa. But I want to know how long it's going to take. Duane, let me know. How long is it going to take before we see Nav Bhatia on one of those seats?
If I know Nav like how I've known Nav for a couple of years now, he's probably the one that brokered the deal, to be honest, to ensure that if the Raptors going to be playing in Tampa, that they have to have fans there. So I assume that he'll be there on opening night. But that's just my opinion. You see all the stories that he talks about that he's missed important birthdays and important family events, all because he went to attend the Raptors game. So I assume that he'll be at the game.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to be making up for last time, basically, for all those games missed. First, I'm kind of jealous that he gets to go and wear shorts when we've got this weather going on up here. But I feel like he'll do something special, you know. He'll like sit in his usual seat, but he'll do something to this section to make it really festive.
Agreed. Nah, I think that he also like brokered that deal. He's like, oh, I think we should let in fans for this season. You know, don't worry, I got it. So we saw Mark J. Spears on Sportsnet talking to Brad Fay about, you know, Giannis would have went to Toronto out of all the teams. He truly believes that. However, we all know that Giannis Antetokounmpo is signed now. What do you guys think that the Raptors should do with the cap space now? Katie, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to kind of take care of who you've got at home first. I'd love to see them extend OG, you know, re-sign Lowry, even though I think Lowry can go anywhere he wants and make any team better. But we already know that as Raptors fans. But I think you got to lock those guys down. And then I think just be patient. Like, we know a lot of guys are going to be hitting the market this coming off season, which feels crazy to already talk about it. But now that we know the Giannis sweepstakes is over for the time being, I think just like sit back, take a look at the landscape, see how this season shakes out, and then, you know, there'll be a lot of guys out there. And now we know we've got the room for them.
Yeah, I think this upcoming season next year is going to have a lot of guys in the free agency class that we could choose from. But like Katie said, I think we need to prioritize who we have, make them feel wanted, and make them feel like they're at home. And we should definitely keep Kyle, because I think he's going to be someone that could be a great mentor. If he wants to retire here, he could help, you know, Freddie reach that point of the next level of his career, and also help guys like Malachi Flynn get more adapted at being a guard from being from Toronto. And then I think that we need a big, like the two bigs that we have, they're not locked into big, huge contracts. They're only there for a short time. So I think we need to focus on getting a big that can, you know, kind of embody the personality of Toronto.
A bit on the guard heavy side, and I totally agree with you, Duane. Like, we do need that big to really lock in, stay with us, and like for a long time, to not only develop them, but you know, for our future, for our franchise, and to be a better rounded team. I think in that way.
Right.
So we also saw Pascal Siakam drop his first episode of Humble and Hustle series. You know, sponsored with Red Bull, his YouTube documentary his off season. Now, obviously, and especially with you, Duane, I'll go to you first for this, because, you know, there's ups and downs, there's ebbs and flows of basketball. That's just how it goes. Like, your career is always evolving, and you got to improve. That being said, what do you believe that Pascal needs to improve on for this upcoming season, given the fact that we saw him struggle in the bubble?
I mean, Pascal's an amazing player. He's young, which a lot of guys are forgetting. You know, he got a lot of criticism for his play last year, but me being a basketball player and now being hurt, so I'm on the other side of it, I can tell you that I can see both sides. And like, we have to understand that as a professional athlete, they go through a lot of things. So how bubble will be being different from how they, you know, usually play and how they routine themselves for the season, and then having to be in a situation where he kind of had to fill the void with Kawhi leaving. He probably felt the pressure of doing a little too much. So for him this season, I want him to get back to just being patient, letting the shots come to him, using his length, starting off by getting easy baskets in transition and not settling for jump shots a lot. I know in the offseason he probably worked his tail off to get better. And like I said, he's young, and every player has to go through some adversity. So the fact that he's won a championship, and then the year after that, he kind of had that rocky situation in the bubble, I think it's only going to make him better basketball player and a better man.
Yeah, like just to jump off what Duane said, I think we're so spoiled. We forget Pascal is such a young player. Like, he came to basketball so late. His rise has been like so meteoric. You know, it makes sense that he's going to kind of have these plateaus and hit them. And we also know of him that he's just got like an incredible work ethic. He's someone who always comes back every season a little bit more prepared, working on like just all the soft skills and things that he needs to do in the game. I mean, I think more tangibly, I'd love to see him work on his finishing. You know, like, he's an all-star. He was an all-star last year, so I'd love to see him just like continue to bring that all-star mentality and confidence to every game. And I think just like what I loved was what he said was missing in the bubble. I mean, I didn't love that it was missing in the bubble, but I loved that he recognized it, was that he felt like joy is such a huge component of his game. And he thought that was missing, you know, in the restart. And I think just from like the flashes that we've seen so far, I think it's back. You know, and like Duane said, he worked really hard all summer. So when you combine those things together, I don't think anybody should discount Pascal this year.
You know, another factor that they're really dealing with in the bubble as well was the fact that they're isolated within a bubble while, you know, a lot of BLM activity was happening outside and a lot of talks. And they really tried to incorporate that, Raptors being one of the teams that really led the conversation within the NBA. So that, of course, is going to play mentally on you. So I'm happy that, and you could tell that he's like laughing in the documentary as well. So I'm hoping that we see the result on the court too. It has been an absolute pleasure to be next to you guys talking ball. I hope to see you guys back here again. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
All right, got to throw it back to Paul Jones now. Take it.
All right, Savanna, Sherm, Nick Nurse has one last preseason game. I mean, he's had all these practices, but the games are a little different. You see what a guy is made of when the lights are on. Nick Nurse with one last preseason game to pare down the roster. I mean, we talk about the NBA and all the guaranteed money. There's the bench in terms of the depth. One guy who's not on the board that we should have on the board is Henry Ellenson. But when you look at it, Sherm, there's a lot of guys and not a lot of time on the floor. I mean, Norm Powell's a given, but Chris Boucher too. But you got to figure Malachi Flynn's going to be worked in there. Terrence Davis, Patrick McCaw's been very good. There's a lot of guys and not a lot of time, and Nick Nurse has some work to do. And then there's a matter of cutting the roster down too to get within the 17 spots.
Well, Nick has been very honest about the fact that he understands that there's not enough minutes for everybody. And one thing Nick has been able to do is convey opportunities when they're there for players to take advantage of. But also when they're not there, he's been very honest about those opportunities not being there based on the situation. And the amount of guards that they have on the roster is going to need to be addressed at some point. But there's no question that there's a surplus of guards. There's not enough minutes for everybody to get a piece. And right now, Kyle isn't even in the mix for the first two preseason games. So there are just going to be less minutes when Kyle gets back. So it's going to be interesting. Nick is going to be as flexible as possible. And whatever gives his team a chance to win is what Nick's going to do. But sometimes feelings get hurt in the NBA. Minutes aren't there for people, and you work as hard as you do, and you don't get the opportunity. That happens. And unfortunately, for some of those guys on the perimeter coming off the bench, they're going to fall victim to that this season.
Well, if you're on the roster, though, Sherm, at least you have a chance to keep working, and maybe it'll come up for you. You never know. Nick Nurse does have to cut the roster down. All right, that's it for us today. We thank Savanna Hamilton, Katie Heindl, Duane Notice, and our two guys behind the camera on the bench, keeping it going, Patrick Choi and Jake LaRue. For the whole gang here, we thank you for watching us here on Raptors Today. Final preseason game Friday in Tampa. The Raptors taking on the Miami Heat. The regular season tips off in exactly 1 week today, December 23rd. We'll keep you posted right here on Raptors Today.